7 Miles of Paradise was the title of one of our previous videos of Anna Maria Island. It is special for a couple of reasons. 1, it's a narrow island surrounded by gorgeous water. 2, it's non-commercialized, old Florida. Those two factors, while it makes it paradise for many, it is also what makes it vulnerable to the ugly side of nature.
Hurricane Helene is now officially a Category 4 storm. It is speeding its way toward the coast of Florida right now.
Anna Maria had been largely spared of the catastrophic storm, but in 2024, that all changed on September 26, as the outer bands of Hurricane Helene came ashore.
The tropical storm force winds will extend out almost 250 miles.
The skies turned dark, the winds picked up, and the normally calm waters of the Gulf became massive waves pounding the shoreline.
Conditions on Anna Maria Island this morning, as they had the high tide, we started to see some localized flooding. That man stays on his boat for every single storm.
While Helene was heading to the Big Bend region of Florida, the eye of the hurricane 100 miles offshore. But despite being spared a direct hit, 5 to 7 feet of storm surge brought catastrophic results.
Anna Maria Island was completely underwater on Friday. Hurricane Helene pushed over 3 feet of Gulf waters into every home, hotel, and restaurant.
But we have toured the beach up and down all afternoon, and this scene is not unfamiliar.
Governor Ron DeSantis visited the storm-ravaged island.
In this report from WFLA, you see the famous rod and reel pier after Helene. Sadly, there was more to come. Less than 2 weeks later, Milton would enter the Gulf, and unlike Helene, this one was heading straight to Anna Maria.
And right as it was to the north of the Yucatan Peninsula, that's when we saw it explode to become a major Category 5 hurricane.
I mean, it is about as strong of a hurricane as you will ever see. The Hurricane Center brings it from a 5 now down to a 3 at 120 miles an hour.
Milton would come ashore on Siesta Key, just 20 miles south of the island. What was left of the rod and reel pier after Helene was taken away by Milton, as well as the city pier.
That is the pier.
Rory's telling me this is a boathouse that the dock was destroyed to.
Is its own floating island. This is a combination, folks, of Helene and Milton. Anna Maria Island getting a double whammy.
You think about the years of building a business or experiencing memories in a home or a vacation rental, and just like that, it's gone.
Here on Anna Maria Island, specifically the town of Holmes Bch, Helene did all the damage 2 weeks ago, and then Milton a few days ago just topped it all off. Some of these are rental properties, others are homes of folks who call these their full-time homes, who are so upset about what happened to them twice in a row, they just can't handle it right now. The psychological hit is huge after these storms.
But then, amidst the destruction, the nature returns. Somehow, they survived. And you realize you will too. The sun still shines, the shoreline and the water still beautiful. You start to appreciate the things that really matter. It's evident there's a third reason that makes Anna Maria special. The storms caused an already tight-knit community to rally together, creating an even deeper bond, an appreciation for each other in life.
We're back, baby! We are back!
After all, Anna Maria was and is special because of the people and the memories it helped create.
After a 1-2 punch.
We appreciate you opening.
Thanks! We appreciate your pitch.
After Hurricane Helene, then Milton forced many businesses to close their doors. The hustle and bustle has returned.
Now, 4 months later, Anna Maria is back open and ready to create new memories. While there was a lot that was lost, and some businesses are going to take some time, much has already reopened. From Bean Point to Cortez, Bradenton Bch, Coquina Bch. Come with us as we show you Anna Maria Island, still 7 miles of paradise. We start on the Manatee Causeway. It is here we showed sea ponies in our previous video. where you can take a horse swimming in Palmasola Bay. It costs $165, certainly worth it. Further down Manatee Avenue is access to 2 preserves. There's the Perico Preserve, a 1.6-mile loop trail, not dog-friendly. And there's the Robinson Preserve, that is dog-friendly. These are both coastal wetlands habitats with miles of nature trails, observation towers, and great kayaking, which you can rent with kayak jacks, which we showed in our previous Anna Maria travel guide. This area did okay for the hurricanes. The tram tours, though, are canceled for now. On the mainland side of the Manatee Causeway Bridge is the Florida's Woodfire Grill and Bar with live music and seating overlooking the Anna Maria Sound. As we cross over the Manatee Causeway Bridge, you can see Tampa Bay in the distance. We enter Anna Maria Island at Holmes Bch. On the right side is the Kingfish boat ramp and park. There are still trees that survived the hurricanes, but much of the trees and greenery was washed away. This boat ramp is still being repaired, very close to opening up any day now. Both boat ramps at Coquina Bch are open. Manatee Avenue ends at Manatee Bch, which we'll check out on our way back up the island. Midway down the island is the pet-friendly Waterline Villas and Marina, with a $150 pet fee per stay. The Keys Marina here, where you can take fishing charters, or the fun boat tours we showed in our travel guide. They have a donut and dolphin tour and a sunset tour that is $45 for adults and $35 for children. A short walk up Marina Drive is the popular Ugly Grouper for seafood and burgers, now open. Marina Drive becomes Palm Drive as we enter the municipality of Anna Maria. A look at the bayside as we head towards the city pier. This is where a lot of popular casual eateries are at, like the Porch restaurant here, which opened back up in December. Anna Maria Island Creamery and Bakery open. And many of you asked me to check out Jenny and Jane E's Cafe, Bakery, and Gift Store. A breakfast cafe with espresso, sandwiches, and known for great cinnamon rolls. As you can see here, they are doing just fine. Across the street is the AMI Beach Hut, a small convenience store with ice cream, beer, and wine. And next door, Harry's Grill, with a nice tropical dog-friendly patio and live music. On the other side of the street, Mademoiselle Paris, also open. On Pine Avenue, the Donut Experiment with fresh made-to-order donuts and coffees. More quaint shops and eateries, like the Pizza Social. The Anna Maria History Museum is temporarily closed. The island trolley here is free, runs about every 20 minutes from 6 a.m. to 10:30. You can download the My Stop app and select AMI Trolley to see real-time transit data. Another great way to get around the island is renting a golf cart. There's many options, but we like AnnaMariaCartRentals.com because they offer a free drop-off and pickup service, so convenient, and have over 700 5-star reviews. They did a really good job cleaning up Pine Avenue. Much of the street you would never know there were 2 hurricanes, but at the end of the road is where you see the results of Helene and Milton. The Anna Maria City Pier actually did good after Helene, but Milton washed away a large chunk of it. The shelter area at the base of the pier and the bait cafe building at the end of the pier did okay, so maybe they could open it up and we could kayak to the cafe for grouper sandwiches. That would be fun. This pier was first built in 1911. Just had a $7.3 million refurbishing project opening in 2020 after Hurricane Irma demolished it. So it was shocking to see it so damaged. They will rebuild it. Last time it took 3 years, so hopefully a little quicker this time. Next to the pier is the Lake La Vista Jetty entrance, which is where they moved the ferry dock to. Oh, I didn't mention, Anna Maria now has a Gulf Island ferry you can take. It stops here and at Bridge Street in downtown Bradenton. It is $6 for adults, $4 for children 4 to 18. Across the street from the pier is the Waterfront Restaurant, now open after being flooded from Milton. Bayfront Park, located north of the pier, was closed at the time of this filming, but is expected to open very soon. And sadly, 3/4 of a mile up North Shore Drive is what is left over of the Rod and Reel Pier. This was a real gem of the island, as you can see in this video before the hurricanes. The 2-story Rod and Reel restaurant was still intact after Helene, but Milton took that away. Good news is they are planning to rebuild. There's a GoFundMe page. They have raised $90,000 with a goal of $300,000. An advantage now for those who want to walk to Bean Point is you can park here, and it's an easy half-mile walk to Bean Point. The way you want to go is to walk up North Shore Drive, then cut through the beach on the 3rd opening. You'll see this one that says Beach Access, but skip that one and go to the next opening. There's a parking sign here, so you know which one I'm talking about. This is where the beach really starts now, as there's no beach area during high tide from this point south. Bean Point is the northern edge of Anna Maria Island. It's really the best parts of the island, especially for nature and birds. It's not very crowded, as there's no parking area, so people have to walk a little ways to get to it. Thus, you don't see as many people here. You can see the skyline of St. Petersburg from here. We move up the Gulf side of the island. Now you can also access Bean Point from the Gulf side, but the nearest public parking lot are around the Sandbar restaurant, and that's a good mile walk. The Sandbar, by the way, is open. It was early in the day and it was cold. Normally you would see a lot of people here. South of the Sandbar is Palmetto Avenue Beach. There's public access here, but no parking lots. So to enjoy this part of the beach, you'll want to book one of the many vacation rentals you'll find in this area, many of which you can find on Vrbo. Another mile down the beach, now in the Holmes Bch municipality, along Gulf Drive, is where you'll find several bigger resorts and condos all right next to each other, beginning with the Nautilus condos with a pool and tennis court. Next to it, Tiffany's Place condo you'll find on Vrbo. This part of the beach, because there's no public parking, typically is not very crowded. There's the White Sands Resort with a golf front pool, shuffleboard court, picnic areas, and barbecue grills. All rooms have a fully equipped kitchen. None of these I've mentioned are pet friendly, but the Bali High Beach Resort is dog friendly, but the pet fee is $75 per night. Further up Gulf Drive, there's Vinny's Italian Kitchen, now open. We now arrive at perhaps the most popular beach of Anna Maria Island. That's Manatee Public Beach Park. Surprisingly, the effects of Helene Milton was minimal here. It did thin out some of the trees, but there's still enough to provide some shade. This beach has a nice counter-serve cafe, now back open with a full menu, and also a tiki bar here. You can see why this beach is very popular. The color of the water is a little darker, and it's not because of the hurricanes, it's just because this was a cold day. And across the street is Skinny's Place, a rustic outlet for handcrafted burgers with outdoor seating. Moving up to East Bay Drive is a large strip mall where several eateries are at, like the Toasted Mango Cafe, China One, which is great for ordering online, and Los Chaludos Mexican Grill. Also, AMI Beach Fun Rentals, where we rented a moped in our previous travel guide. It's about $99 a day. They also rent golf carts, mobility scooters, bikes, and beach supplies. Bailey wanted to ride a moped like Bella, but I told her it's too cold today. Just a quarter of a mile from the shopping center is Avenue E here. It is a couple of blocks from the beach, and where you'll find some reasonably priced quaint cottages, like Sunset Villas, which is open. You can book on Vrbo. This area all had 3 to 4 feet of flooding, but looks remarkably good. There's Starfish Beach cottages on the left, will reopen in April. Avenue F is 1 block closer to the beach, but many of the vacation rentals there had a lot more damage and are still closed. We now enter Bradenton Bch, which was the area hardest hit from Hurricane Helene. It includes Cortez and Coquina Bchs. It was hit with 5 to 7 feet of storm surge. Some of the first reports were that 90 to 95% of Bradenton Bch was destroyed, but looking at it now, it doesn't seem to be the case. Yes, there was a lot of damage. Nearly 300 properties suffered major damage. But it looks like it has recovered a lot. This Golf Drive was blocked by sand. This is the part of the island where Golf Drive runs the closest to the Gulf. And of course, the closer it gets to the water, the more devastation you'll see. Many of these properties will take months of rebuilding, like the seaside at Anna Maria Island Inn. Here's the other side of the street. There's the Tropic Isle at Anna Maria Island Inn, supposed to open at the end of March. The Coquina Beach Club, supposed to open in April. You can book at booking.com. And there's the Tortuga Beach Resort, some of you had asked me about. They just opened back up. The boardwalk crossover across the street seems to be okay. And the pavilion deck area seems to need some cleaning up, but I don't see any major structural damage. The Queen's Gate Resort we mentioned in our previous video, severe damage, will be several months before they come back. Sad, because that was a real good dog-friendly motel. The Golf Drive Cafe and its coconut hut is open. This is a popular indoor-outdoor eatery near the Cortez Causeway. Across the street is the Wicked Cantina, also open. Alright, before we take you to Bridge Street, let's go across the Cortez Bridge. As we head over the bridge, on the right is the Bradenton Bch Marina. You can see some of the boat docks pretty torn up from the hurricanes. Here you can take boat tours around the island, to sandbars, and also to Egmont Key, which we showed in our St. Petersburg travel guide. They used to have a paddle wheel boat, the Anna Maria Princess, but I don't see it anymore. If anybody has any info about that, please share it in the comments. On this side of the bridge is the fishing village of Cortez. It is here you can get the freshest seafood, like at Tide Tables restaurant, with seating on the Intracoastal Waterway. Cortez is a 100-plus-year-old commercial fishing village that was hit very hard by the hurricanes. It lost many docks, therefore affected people's livelihoods who depend on the fishing industry. Fortunately, a couple of the most popular eateries did survive. There's the Starfish Company, a fish market and waterside seafood hangout, with outdoor picnic tables, seating right on the docks. And there's the Swordfish Grill, with a bar deck and live music. Both these places are back open. Don't take an Anna Maria Island vacation without visiting one of these places. And maybe give them a big tip too, because they have been through a lot. As we head back across the bridge, the Seafood Shack Marina Bar and Grill got demolished, but it was actually sold to the county just a couple of weeks before the hurricanes hit, so it was already planning on being redeveloped into a public boat and access facility with a boat ramp. There's Annie's Bait and Tackle, still closed, but I believe they will eventually reopen, but it will take some time. Back on the island, continuing up Gulf Boulevard, is the Beach House restaurant. They reopened back in November. They are owned by Beachside Hospitality Group, which also owns Mar Vista, just across the bridge on Longboat Key. We'll see them in our Sarasota video next week. Across the street was Oma's Pizza and Italian restaurant. It didn't fare so well. Part of their seating ended up blocks away. Word is they will rebuild, but will take some time. We now enter Bridge Street. Near the roundabout is the Island Time Bar and Grill and Bridge Street Bistro. Both are open. This area was a real mess after the hurricanes. Just an amazing job of how it looks now. The Daiquiri Deck, Fish Hole Mini Golf, and Fudge Factory all open. The Driftin' AMI Bar here is working on permitting issues with the city for rebuilding, so we'll be back at some point. Near the base of the pier is the popular Bridge Tender Inn Dockside Tiki Bar, a sports bar, especially for Green Bay Packer fans, cheeseheads. As for the pier itself, it is in good shape. No major structural damage. Bailey says it's in good shape. The only part that is not open is a very small section on the south side of the T-end, which was being repaired while we were filming, so even that might be open by the time you see this video. Some of the docks, however, were torn apart, so those still have to be replaced. The Anna Maria Oyster Bar that you saw the waitress saying at the beginning, "We're back, baby," is open, with seating inside or outside right on the pier. Paradise Boat Tours is back operating. It is $35 for adults, $25 for children 3 to 12 for a 90-minute dolphin tour. And the Gulf Islands Ferry makes a stop here, as do the birds of the Gulf Coast. The Bridge Walk-In will be opening in March. As we continue south on Gulf Boulevard, you see some of the worst damage just across from Cortez Bch. Now, Cortez Bch and the north part of Coquina Bch is still closed as of the end of January. That's about from 5th Street to southward. The 3 piers are at 6th Street, 10th Street, and 13th Street. They are all closed. From the air, the piers look intact. I don't see any structural damage. Now, if you are aware of some of these places opening back up, please share it in the comments below. I found info on the Manatee County websites, not very up to date. Best info was on the Anna Maria Island Facebook page. Now in Coquina Bch, the north part of the beach also has a drainage project happening now that is fixing some of the flooding issues in this area, regardless of the hurricanes. But the South Coquina Bch area is all open. And good news, the cafe just opened the day before the posting of this video. As well as food, you can rent an umbrella and 2 chairs for $25 or individual chairs for $10. So another sign of coming back to normal. I have always said, I think with the convenience of parking, the trees around the beach, the plentiful picnic tables, barbecue grills, and facilities, that Coquina and Cortez beaches are my favorite beaches in the U.S. And I've filmed most of the great ones. I'm anxious to hear your thoughts now after the hurricanes in the comments. And again, the color of the water is just because it was cold. On a warm day, these waters are turquoise. On the bay side is the Coquina Bch Baywalk on Lefis Key. It is still temporarily closed. The 2 Coquina Bch boat ramps opened at the first of the year. At the south end of Anna Maria Island is the Longboat Pass Beach Park. It is open as well. There is no swimming here due to the rip currents. However, it's a great place to watch the boats come in and out of the pass. There's been a little beach erosion here, which really is probably everywhere on the island, but just more noticeable here. The ferocious waves from the hurricanes are now back to the normally calm waves of the Gulf. And the sandbar is still here. There's no boats because it was cold and on a weekday, but on the weekends you'll see lots of boats here. You can rent a pontoon or jet ski, or take a boat tour with Anna Maria Island Dolphin Tours. It is $48 for adults, $42 for children under 6. And this is Longboat Key, which we'll be featuring next week, part of our Sarasota video. So, Anna Maria Island got a double whammy in 2024, but as you can see, it is well on its way to coming back. Again, please share in the comments below any updated info you are aware of, as I'd like this video to be a good source on what is currently happening on the island. Next week, we go across the bridge to Longboat Key in Sarasota, as we explore the areas where Milton made landfall, like Siesta Key. Then we will be traveling to Florida's east coast, showing Amelia Island and Fernandina Beach. And in March will be Tampa 2025, featuring Gasparilla and the Savannah Bananas. And in April, we head to southwest Florida, to Fort Myers Beach, Sanibel, and Captiva Islands. Also, I want to show Minnesota and Port Charlotte areas too this spring. If traveling with a dog, I highly recommend these Kurgo dog backpacks. It allows you to bring a dog to places you otherwise would not be able to, and saves them from excessive walking. We are Tampa Aerial Media. We film travel promos across the USA. For stock footage, or if you'd like to hire us to film your city, region, or vacation rental, contact me at info@tampaaerialmedia.com. From the Gulf of, well, is this the Gulf of Mexico or the Gulf of America? Well, either way, I wish blessings to you, wherever you may be. Dios te bendiga.